Morning to you once again. Back to the final lap of the morning crossfire live from our audio-visual studios here from the heart of Lagos, Etimi and Crescent, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. Good morning to you. You can listen to us live from our mobile app, Nigeria Info FM. You can download it from your Google Play Store and Apple iOS Store. The logo is NI. You can also watch us on Facebook, Nigeria Info 99.3. We're there. Same for YouTube as well. Feel free to join our conversation on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. The WhatsApp portal is up and active for you to join this conversation. I have been saying it all morning. If you are a pensioner, if you run a religious center or religious body, if you belong to one, if you are a landlord, if you're a tenant, whatever your situation is, if you've got property in Lagos, this is a conversation that you need to be a part of. If you've got questions, start sending them in right now on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM, hashtag Morning Crossfire. You can also send me your thoughts via our WhatsApp portal. The WhatsApp line is 0809 597 5805. Let's talk land use charge law in Lagos State. So the Lagos State land use charge law has become one of the most topical issues since its passage by the immediate past administration in 2018. Now, the same law, which was first enacted in 2001, has not been spared also in terms of diverse controversies despite the recent disclosure to review, or let me say reverse the rate of land use charge. Now, AUC will be using more of LUC, which means land use charge, to save time. Okay. So earlier in June, to be precise, the 3rd of June, during the year 2020 ministerial briefing to mark the first year of the governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu in office, the Lagos State government, through the Honorable Commissioner for Finance, Dr. Rabiu Olowo, in a statement, disclosed that the Lagos State government is set to reduce the Lagos land use charge and other penal fees by reversing the rate to pre-2018 while upholding the 2018 method of valuation. You see, that method of valuation and the pre-2018 will touch on everything, as we have the Honorable Commissioner for Finance join us right now via Skype. Dr. Rabiu Olowo is joining us. Dr. Rabiu, very lovely morning to you, sir.
Thank you very much for good, having me here the program this morning.
It's good to have you. Now, let's begin this way, Dr. Rabiu. The land use charge law pre-2018, what does it state?
The land use law in 2018 was a little bit of controversy, even as a citizen, as a landlord, as a tenant, as a owner-occupier of property. If you're an industrialist, owners of commercial property, there was a lot of public outcry. So the law at that time received a lot of agitation across the spectrum of people and stakeholders. And that's why at the initial stage of this administration, one of the most common questions that we're being asked, whether it's the governor or myself, when we have opportunity of meeting with organized private sectors, landlord association, and different spectrum of people, is when are we going to revisit the issue of land use charge based on those agitation and public outcry that was witnessed in 2018.
Dr. Olowo, what are those major issues that were contentious pre-2018? What were those issues?
So there were just two issues, but were deemed significant. The first one is that the charge rate was increased. And at the same time, the method of valuation was also changed. So this twin shock led to a sporadic increase to up to about 100% when you put these two reviews together. And that's why I think there was a lot of agitation and public outcry.
Right. Now, let's quickly touch on a few things, because I want us to be very direct, and so we can cover grounds as much as we can, because we've got less than an hour to talk about this, and we'll bring in Lagos into this conversation as well. So Lagos, who wants to ask you questions, can ask you questions directly. What are those things that you are reversing to at the moment right now? Put it on the table clearly for Lagos to understand you.
Thank you very much. The first thing we need to know is that the 2018 land use charge has been repealed. The 2020 land use charge law has been assented to by Mr. Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. It's been passed through the House of Assembly. We have a new law. It's also instructive to know that the 2020 land use charge law consolidates all property and land-based rates and charges into a single property tax. It consolidates the land rates, the tenement rate, and neighborhood improvement charge into a single property charge, now known as the land use charge, just a single charge. Now, what are those key changes? What are those revisions that was done in the 2020 land use charge law? The first thing is on the pensioner. The definition of a pensioner has been expanded to include retirees from public and private organizations, not just public organizations, not just people who retired from Lagos State government, people who have retired from working, retirees generally, people who have attained the age of 60 years and are no more actively involved in any activity for remuneration. Properties owned and occupied by pensioners are 100% exempted from the payment of land use charge. So I think that is interesting and that's very instructive to know. Also, the big change or the big bang is that the charge rate for land use charge has been reduced by 48%. 48%. Let's say a property, in Ilupeju that used to pay 27,000 naira will end to pay 14,000 naira, about 48, 49, weighted average, reduction. And I think that's the real big, change that people want to hear about. Also, during this reform, we paid attention to certain industries that government must begin to look at the moment, which is the agricultural sector. The agricultural land used for, agricultural purposes across all its value chain, whether it's processing, whether it's, harvesting, whether it's, any value chain within the, agricultural space. Land for those purposes have been reduced up to 87%. 87%. Also, when we started around last year, we knew that we had to revisit this land use charge law, but we were met in the middle by the COVID pandemic, and that gave us more reason why we need to have a deeper level of review and analysis at what's in the economy at the moment. Mr. Governor has approved a penalty waiver for year 2017, 2018, and 2019 for late payment. Late payment charges across those 3 years have been 100% waived.
Oh, wow.
So that's a big thing. Then also this new law and its regulation have reintroduced a 50% early payment discount. So we had that in mind when we were doing this reform. We were met with COVID. Mr. Governor approved an additional 10% COVID incentive payment discount. So altogether, you have a 25% early payment discount. And that's why at the end of the program, I'm going to implore Lagosians, once they get their bill, they should immediately take advantage of this early payment discount. Also instruct to know that we have new payment channels. We want to make at any point in time, people find it very convenient, very easy to make the payment. Other than the traditional way of visiting banks, filling tellers, that is still there, but they can pay their land use charge by way of USSD, mobile banking, internet banking. POS are available at all our contact centers, and we are coming up with more innovative, payment windows to make it very easy for people to pay their land use charge. Also, I think it's important to also mention that we now have a fit-for-purpose, robust contact center. 070 Lagos LUC. Very simple. If you have any question, if you need your e-bills, if you need, to in and say, oh, I've not gotten my bill, can you send it to my email? So we're also using this to update our database so that in the nearest future, we can send bills email, or you can download your bills from our website. So those are the big, takeaways from the new law, and I'll be happy to answer any specific questions.
Yes, we'll open up the phone lines in a moment, but I've got loads of questions myself. I'm going to be selfish in a moment, so Lagos, calm down. Let me ask these questions, then you will come in. Let's talk about religious centers, worship centers. Are they involved? Are they included in the payment of LUC?
Absolutely. Property owned and occupied by religious centers are exempted from the payment of land use charge. Property owned and occupied. If a religious center goes to rent a property, that property is not exempted from the payment of land use charge.
Oh, I get your point now. Now, the reason I ask this question is religious centers. It's not that even if they own these properties, right? When they operate, when they do their activities, I am aware, Dr. Olowo, I am aware that sometimes we use state resources to make life easy for people around there. Like, for instance, LASMA, passing traffic and everything. And these religious centers are not paying land use charge to the government. And then the government uses the state resources to make life comfortable for them and for the people around there. Is that fair? And what is the rationale behind exempting religious centers from paying land use charge? What is the rationale?
That's a very strong and interesting question. But the way to answer it is this. We believe, or it is believed, that religious centers are not for profit. Whether this is true or not, for lack of better word, there is the exemption given is not automatic. We must review certain documentation to actually come to the conclusion that they are actually not for profit. And once this is the case, they will be exempted from the payment of land use charge. It's for societal benefit if that is the case. And I think it's, that's the least we can do to actually, assist their members who are also citizens and members of the society.
Right. Now, let's quickly go to the issue of valuation. Dr. Olowo, you're not like me after this question, but I will ask anyways. So they've been back and forth as to how do you come about the worth of a property? There have been questions as to why should the state be the one to appoint professional estate valuers or property valuers? Why can't there be another system where the property owners or owner can come together with the government and the independent property valuer to come together and put a value to that property? Because it's looking at it's one-sided. If the government is the one appointing professional property valuers to evaluate the cost of a building.
Absolutely. I think I like that question, and it gives me the opportunity to tell, Lagos what we are doing in this sector. So we want to make it easy. We want to make it easier. We want to make the process very nimble. And that's why it's easier for government to take on that responsibility, even from a cost perspective. Who is going to bear the cost if you want to appoint a property valuer? So we do this because we know all the landscape, the areascape, the worth of properties. Properties and areas are in different categories. We have class A, class B, class C, and we see everything from an helicopter view in terms of what the property and the valuation is for Lagos at any point in time. But what we've done differently is this: there's an LUC appeals tribunal. There is a conflict or a complaint resolution process, whereby if you think that the valuation of your property is not, maybe you don't believe what your property has been assessed, you have the opportunity to actually appoint your own property valuer. So far, it's a credible one. It's part of the ones that we've enlisted as state recognized. We will take it. We will take it. And that's why, it's very flexible, it's very collaborative. So it's not just, we imposing, to say that this is the, value of a property. You have the opportunity within the value chain to actually, get your own on board, and we will take it. So far, it's
you said you have a list of property valuers, accredited ones in Lagos. Where can people have access to this?
If they go to our website, they will get it there.
Okay. Very quickly, we're going to take a few calls right now. Then we'll come back I will come back to you. 0700 993 993 993 Lagos. If you've got questions for Honorable Commissioner, feel free to jump on the conversation right now. And wait, you have 2 minutes to ask the question. You need to put them together so that we can get in as many thoughts as possible. I think I have Musbao. Is it Musbao? I'm saying a name here. Musbao is calling in from Mushin. Musbao, a very lovely morning to you. Musbao, can you hear me?
Hello, Sherry. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Even though you have come without telling us, welcome back.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Good morning, Honorable Commissioner. Yeah. I want to commend Lagos State government for this gesture, because sometimes in last regime, we must go to battle with the governor concerning this land use, because we're just high. So commend Lagos State government for this reduction. How about those? My question is, how about those who are paid 18, who are paid the land use 2018, 19? Is there any opportunity for them? Yeah, for this waiver. And moreover, why this e-bill? Please let it be available, because sometimes you don't see bill. And the fine will be there. What can you do if you don't receive a bill and there's no e-payment? What can you do? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Val, for your question. Honorable Commissioner, let's get your response to that. Oh, wow. Chika, hold on, Honorable Commissioner. Please note down those questions. I'm noting them down as well. Let's just get Chika in. Chika is already in already. Hi, Chika. Good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Good morning to your guest. My question is this. In this new arrangement, let's say, and a tenant that stays in a house, is it the tenant that's meant to pay for the land use charge or the landlord? Then secondly, your guest said that a religious center have been exempted from paying the LUC. My question is that how about schools? Because if religious centers are considered to be non...
how about schools?
Schools.
Okay.
Because if religious centers are turned to be non-profit making organization, we also know that schools are also non-profit making organizations.
Wait, hold on. Public or private schools?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Yeah. Are they also exempted from paying the LUC?
All right, Chika.
Thank you.
Thank you, too. Honorable Commissioner, your questions?
So thank you very much. Musibao, solid question. I think I need to make it very clear. The waiver is not on 2017, 18, and 19 land use charge. It's on penalty waivers.
Okay.
Late payment penalties. People who have not paid for 2017, 2018, 2019. I think by the regulation at that time, there's almost an 100% penalty on top of what you're supposed to pay for having paid late. It is the penalty that has been waived, not the land use charge itself. I think it's very, very important that is very clear.
Right.
So the issue of people not getting their bills on time, I think the very true observation and situation. So what we've done differently is this. If you call 070 Lagos LUC, you have your email, you talk to them, they confirm your charge. If you have an email, they can send an e-copy of the bill to you. So we are on the path to building a robust database that will have, properties owners, emails, telephone numbers, so that innovative ways of getting these things across can be achieved. So once you get that number, you can get your bills almost immediately. You don't need to wait for the hard copy to get to your house.
Right. Chika asked a question about schools paying land use charge. Are they exempted too? According to him, he said that he said he's aware that they are non-profit too. That's why I asked public or private schools.
So the word is not for profit. If an institution is not for profit and it can be verified as so, the Commissioner for Finance under the regulations has the powers to actually exempt that organization or institution from the payment of land use charge. But it has to be verified, and an application has to be made to the office of the commissioner.
Okay. I can't understand fully what Jesulike is trying to say in this message on WhatsApp, but let me just read it. Hope we would not need to take a sleep to allow, sir, after payment. Do you have an idea what the person is trying to say? Maybe online payment or something?
Yeah, we have new payment gateways. We have very easy ways, for all this data, payment to be synchronized almost immediately. So once you pay through our new payment channels, whether it's USSD, you don't need to bring any slip anywhere.
Right.
The database is updated almost immediately, and your payment is confirmed. So those are some of the things you would expect, going forward.
I'll chip in one question before we go on our first break, Honorable Commissioner. This person says, how do I get a revised bill that takes into consideration the waiver of fines and new rates?
The bills are on their way to Lagosians as we speak. The bills are being printed across all the areas mapped. We have 5 divisions in Lagos. Some, I confirmed last night, some areas in the mainland have, started receiving their bills. So once you get this new bill, you will see the retrospective application of all these waivers and all these concessions that have been given. But you don't need to wait. Call 0700 Lagos LUC. You can get your bills almost immediately.
Fantastic. Honorable Commissioner for Finance in Lagos, Dr. Rabiu Olowo is joining us on Skype today to talk about land use charge. Lagos, I can see your phone, your calls, they are full, they are on fire here. But let's go on our first break. Honorable Commissioner is not going anywhere soon. So let's go on our first break. When we return, we'll take more of your questions. I can see loads of questions coming in already. Keep them coming. You can tweet us at Nigeria Info FM on Twitter. Hashtag Morning Crossfire, very important. That is what I will use to search for your questions. Hashtag Morning Crossfire. I'll be right back. Honorable Commissioner, please join us again. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
You are listening to your number one station for talk.
99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's
.3 Nigeria Info.
your number one station for talk. Let's talk. Let's talk.
This is the voice note on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
For me, I not please say Corona Day. But the people of the world, the president and the whole pop one, they say Corona Day. Me, I please say take out the job money because my big friend, if I buy the sick, he go General Hospital. They say he get Colo. As the man they shot, the whole I give her 20,000 naira. Say me he close the man, make it not to say he don't get Colo. Because also I not believe say Colo Day. Because the time we Ace day, we see Ace. The time Marquis Valos day, we see Marquis Valos. Our Ace can't be. Kolo, what we now know the meaning of Kolo?
You know what you will? Because me, I dey shop, I dey do everything. I know they even cover my nose. So coronavirus, you know they worry me. Oh, we ugly people.
The Voice Note on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Everybody talks. But we keep you informed 24/7.
Do they understand what the Constitution is all about? They're supposed to be the ones that will say, okay, well, you can protest, but don't do this, don't do that.
Look, protest is part of democracy. Whether it's irritation or not, it's part of democracy.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
This is Morning Crossfire on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back to the show, Lagos. If you are just tuning in, you're welcome. We are discussing the land use charge law in Lagos State. Honorable Commissioner for Finance in the state, Dr. Rabiu Olowo, is joining us via Skype. This morning, Lagos, you can be a part of the conversation. Our Twitter feed is there with loads of questions chipping in. The phone lines are buzzing. We'll try as much as possible to take. As a matter of fact, let me just pause my own questions for a while, and so we can hear more from Lagos this morning. 0700 993 993 993. That is 0700 993 993 993. The WhatsApp number is 0809 597 5805. That's 0809 597 5805. On Twitter, it's hashtag Morning Crossfire. On Twitter, at Nigeria Info FM, hashtag Morning Crossfire. You have to add the hashtag there so I can be able to take it. Dr. Olowo, thank you again for joining us on the program this morning. Let's start with the message that came in from a retiree. He said, I am 66 years old and I've been paying the LUC. What will happen to my payment and how will the state government stop sending me further bills? His name is Mr. Francis. Honorable Commissioner.
Thank you very much, Mr. Francis, for being, a good citizen all along. So all you need to do is to write an application to the Office of the Honorable Commissioner with all the evidences, the supporting documents. Once this is verified, your account will be marked as that of a pensioner, and a 100% exemption from the payment of land use charge will be applied. So please do this. Put your contact number, put all the supporting documents, deemed necessary, your retirement slip and things like that. And once we verify this, your account will be marked as such.
Okay, now let's take one more call, then we go to Twitter. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning to my dearest Honorable Commissioner. My name is Prince YS, calling from Amuwodo. I want to ask this question. If a beast is not given in the previous year to somebody's home, the following year, they double the amount to be paid. And another query, we will not bring the bill. Following year, you have to pay double of the amount. That's my question.
Prince YS, can you repeat the question? Can you repeat it?
If the bill is not given to you previous year like last year,
okay.
Now this year, it did not bring the bill. They not double the amount you're supposed to pay.
Okay.
Like you have to pay like 10,000 last year. The bill is not given, and this year you now plus it 20,000 because you did not pay for last year.
Oh, okay. All right, Prince Wise. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner. Did you get the question?
No, I didn't get it. If you help me.
So he was saying that, for instance, he was supposed to pay 10,000 naira last year. He didn't pay, not particularly him, I'm not sure. But then this year, when the bill came, there was an increment of 100%, double the amount.
Okay, so that's fine, and that's why, from what we said earlier, Mr. Governor has approved a penalty waiver. So at the end of the day, when he sees his 2020 bill that I'm sure is on the way to his house, he will see that the waiver have been applied for penalties for 2019, 2018, and 2017. So the new bill would discountenance that.
Let's dwell more on the penalty, Honorable Commissioner. So after the waiver, starting from 2020, what happens to the penalty fee? Is it still 100% if you fail to pay on time?
No, this is just an interventionist approach.
Okay.
So the penalty is still there, and this is to encourage people to actually pay their charges, their taxes, their rates as at when due. So the penalties will be there going forward. Okay. This is interventionist mixed with our response to the agitation, mixed with the COVID, situation, and that's why Mr. Governor, has approved this waiver, and I think it's a welcome, thing for property owners and all stakeholders, across Lagos.
There's another question, Honorable Commissioner. I will go to Twitter in a moment. So there's this question about if someone buys a property and then not use the property, will the person pay the LUC?
So in this new law, perhaps I didn't mention that vacant properties now have a reduction in LUC charge. The question is that would they have to pay? Yes, you have to pay. But the 2020 land use charge law has, as reviewed, has actually reduced the land use charge payable by vacant properties because they are currently used for economic activities. But we need to also encourage people that when they buy properties, when they have properties, they must put it to use so that the economy can, profit from this.
Exactly. Let's go to WhatsApp very quickly. Good morning. My name is Mr. Kingsley. Please, I want to know is it proper for a tenant to pay the land use charge? Who is responsible for the payment? What happens if a property fails to pay? If a property fails to pay the landlord fails to pay the land use charge, what happens to the property owner? I don't know if you get the question, but he first asked, will the tenant is the tenant responsible for payment of the LUC, or the landlord is responsible for it?
So I got a question, and it's my best question so far. Section 14 of the Land Use Charge Law 2020 says that the commissioner may, by writing, appoint any person, including the occupier of a chargeable property, to be an agent of the owner in the collection and in the payment of land use charge. So what we're trying to do is this. When we do enforcement, the person who is disadvantaged is the occupier of the property. We can seal the property as empowered under the law. So what we want to do going forward is that there are certain categories of property. The assessment, the review is currently being done. We will appoint the occupiers of those properties as an agent of the owner. So if the rent of your property is 1 million, please pay government his own 80,000. Pay government his own 90,000 and pay the balance to the owner. So this is in the law. So we will empower certain category of occupiers.
Right.
We will start corporates. We'll start with corporates, and as we build our database, we would apply this down to individuals so that they are the agent of the owner, and land use charge will be deducted at source. The balance will be paid to the owner. So I like that question.
Do the owners understand this, Honorable Commissioner? Because it's looking like me that Wala is about to start between the owner and the tenant. Do they understand this?
In fact, I think the occupiers will be assisting, will be helping the owners in making sure their compliance to this fiscal. This is a citizen responsibility. It's just like staff of a company. Your company is an agent of the government or an agent of yourself, and that's why pay as you earn is deducted at source, and we don't have to worry. Nobody has ever complained of that. So this is just very similar to that.
I'm going to ask a very okay. I have loads of Honorable Commissioner. No vex, I have plenty of calls here. I wanted to ask some personal questions. Let's take this call. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning.
My name is Remy.
Welcome, Remy.
Yeah, I heard the commissioner saying if you have a vacant property, land or houses or others, you still need to pay land use charge. Why should I need to pay for a land when I'm not using the land at that moment? Or is it my fault that I don't have money to erect a building on that land? Why do I need to pay for a land discharge I'm not using at the moment?
Rami, got your point. Honorable Commissioner, what Rami is trying to say that if he like procures a land, a barren land, for instance, no building, nothing on top of it, just bush, is he supposed to pay land discharge on that property?
Absolutely.
He's asking why should he pay? I mean, it's not nothing.
The reason why it's nothing is the reason why it's applicable for that property to pay land use charge. Now, whether it's land or any kind of asset, the real essence is to stimulate economic activity. So how do we encourage you to buy land and not put it into economic use? Nobody is staying there. You are not staying there. So what's the use? So if we keep encouraging people to buy warehouses, to buy companies, to buy houses, and leave it to no use. But what we've actually done in the 2020 law is to reduce what is payable on vacant and empty land. We've reduced the rate from 0.076% to 0.0394%, about a 50%, close to a 50% reduction, recognizing the fact that there is a slow economic activity occasioned by COVID-19. And we are just also appealing to the emotions of people in this category. But the truth is that properties and other assets should be put into either personal use or economic use.
Right. Let's go to Twitter, Honorable Commissioner. K Fash on Twitter says, if a pensioner has a house with tenants, will such pay LUC?
So we've gotten this question a lot of time.
Yeah.
Properties owned and occupied by pensioners are 100% exempted from the payment of land use charge. Now, property owned and occupied by a pensioner and also occupied by tenants, the answer is he has to pay land use charge. Now, what is our definition of pensioner under the law? Someone who has attained somebody who retired from public or private education, somebody who currently is in any economy. Renting your house, rent, is an economic activity. So that property will be chargeable to land use charge.
We'll come to Twitter in a moment. Let's get back to the phone lines. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, Sheriff.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Please, sorry for diverting. I mean, are you... Yesterday, I didn't hear winner on one.
Guy, Pakwe. It's not time for winner or no winner here. Why can't you just be diverting and you're saying sorry to start with? That will not be tolerated now. Okay, Chuku Kingsley on Twitter says, if a person buys a property and the former owner has not been paying LUC, will the new owner be liable to those years of unpaid LUC? This is quite germane, Honorable Commissioner.
So the answer is a big.
We didn't get that. The answer is a big what?
The answer is a big yes.
Okay.
A big yes, because one of the due diligence you needed to do before making a buying decision is to see whether rates, taxes, levies on properties have been paid. So that is not to say. So if you see a property that has accrued land use charge rates that have not been paid, so you will know, and the responsibility becomes yours going forward.
Abdullah is joining us this morning. Abdullah, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning,
Good morning.
Mr. Sheriff. Good morning, Honorable Commissioner. Please, I want to make an inquiry about land use charge for flats. We have a lot of flats in Lagos now. All the new development in Ikoyi and the environs. How do you pay land use charge in that environment? Is it going to be a global thing to be divided by the occupiers of the flats?
Right.
Or I don't really understand, please.
Valid question. Thank you, Abdullahi. Honorable Commissioner.
So thank you very much. Now we have new building designs. We have communal living. You have a house that you have 12 owners. So what we're trying to do as we build our database, we want to recognize ownership. ownership. So if I have a building that have maybe a terrace or blocks of flats that is owned by different people, we are trying to build a database whereby individual owners of an apartment, of a flat, of a terrace will pay its own land use charge. The formula is very easy: land area, building area, which can still be assessed by way of flat, apartments, or terrace. So where we're going is that, and we've started doing this in especially in the Lekki area, whereby individual owners of flats and apartments pay their own land use charge.
I have another important question here on Twitter. Oluwafisayo Ogunjimi, Honorable Commissioner, please listen to this. Federal estates like Festag receive LUC bills, while the FHA also send bills for tenement rate. This was highlighted for resolution some years ago, but till now, it has not been resolved. So residents of these estates are receiving double bills. What's your take on this?
So this is partial, and of course, this truth is that those properties in Lagos, owners live and work in, and they are liable to land use charge.
So, Honorable Commissioner, we will try and call you back right now, right? Let's sort out some connection issues here, okay? Please bear with us. We barely heard your response to your last question. So, our guys will call you back any moment now, so you can get your reaction to that last message again, for the benefit of those that are affected by that particular situation, all right? So, Lagos, I'm going to quickly go to WhatsApp and take some messages right now that will not require the Honorable Commissioner to... Oh, my word. Everything is about the Honorable Commissioner. Okay. We're working to get him back on the line. As soon as we have him back on the line, definitely, I would begin to read your questions. If we got more questions, please, he gave out a number earlier. That's 0700 Lagos LUC. Just note down that number as 0700 Lagos LUC. If you got any further question, we have Honorable Commissioner back on the line. Honorable Commissioner, I would like for you to, welcome back by the way, I would like for you to please repeat the response to the Festag and the FHA question I asked earlier.
I said it's been a bit of controversial issue, but personally I think it's there's nothing controversial about it. These properties are located in Lagos. The occupier live and work in Lagos. The land use charge law in Lagos is not just a tenement rate. It's neighborhood improvement rate. Is land rate. So it's a consolidation of all these rates together. And Lagos State has proved very, very responsible in actually championing the cause within this, three consolidation. So to answer the question simply, those categories of properties are liable to pay land use charge in Lagos.
I'll take this question from WhatsApp, then we go to the phone lines after this question. My name is Benga from Ikorodu. Does LUC encourage part payment? Secondly, about making tenants an agent. Whereas the landlord has more than a tenant and the renewal period of each tenant is different, how would they now act as an agent?
So thank you very much. The first question is, yes, you can make part payment. Those are some of the innovations that we have. And your bill is 20,000, you can actually 10,000 naira pay. And the system captures it like that. You have your balance, being notified on the system. So the answer is yes, you can make part payments of land use charge. The second question, and this is something that is currently not operational. It's something that we want to start enforcing. A review is, being done, and that's why I said the first phase of implementation would be with corporate tenants, right. Corporate occupiers of property. Right. As we build our database, it makes more sense to us, and we'll be able to inform negotiations how the approach is going to be in terms of enforcing that part of the law.
Let's speak to an anonymous caller. Oh, anonymous caller is gone. Let's see who is here. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning to you. What's your name, please?
My name is Mr. Sunday.
Okay, Mr. Sunday.
From Ishaga.
All right, let's have your question.
Yeah. Please, So there's something I want to ask about that tenant being paying land use charge. Tenant is not the landlord. Sir, what have you to say about that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question again?
I said the issue of you saying that a tenant will pay land use charge. Why tenant is not the landlord? Tenant can leave at any time. The house still remains for the landlord.
Oh, okay. I get your thoughts. Honorable Commissioner, can you again elucidate on this further? Because yeah.
Section 14 of the 2020 Land Use Charge Law says the commissioner may by notice in writing appoint any person, including the occupier of the chargeable property, to be an agent of the owner. It's not automatic. So what we are saying here is not that, tenants start paying until you are appointed. The first phase of implementation will be to corporate. So you can imagine an eatery, you can imagine a bank. If we enforce on the default of paying land use charge, who is at disadvantage? Is it the owner or the occupier? You won't be able to do your business, etc. And that's why once we finish our review, our first phase of implementation will be to business, occupiers, business, tenants, by appointing them to be an agent of the owner. They will deduct at source the land use charge payable on the property before, returning the balance to their landlord. I know that it's going to be a little bit not simple for individual occupiers, and that's why we're trying to refine our approach in this before we come out with implementation.
All right. Let's speak with Adeyemi, who is calling us from Okota. Adeyemi, good morning to you.
The radio is off.
Adeyemi, good morning.
Hey, Sheriff.
Good morning.
And welcome back, finally.
Thank you.
Yes, this is Adeyemi from Okota. Honorable Commissioner, good morning to you as well.
Morning.
The appointment of a proxy to pay it on behalf of the landlord is going to create a big worry. So it's something to watch out. So when they do make the payment, will they make the payment on behalf of the of the landlord, or will they actually insert their name as the payee? So that can create a big legal problem. The other question that I want to ask is, you're saying that we have to apply. I mean, some of us who are, in our very late 60s and so on, that we have still to apply before we can get a reprieve. I mean, I thought we have data already. It should actually be automatic. So when they send this thing to us, the bill, then that means there's going to be a stretch of a delay and so on. And it's a great unfair. Can we have the data online now so that we can send our data and we don't have all the forth and back? And then the last one, sir, is that the empty plots, why should we be paying for empty plots? It doesn't, for me, I think that is not fair to the people, because there are so many reasons why people are not developing the land. There must be reasons behind that. And so people should not be punished for that purpose. God bless you, sir.
Bless you too. Honorable Commissioner, let's have your reaction to Adeyemi's questions.
So thank you very much. I share your conviction. So the truth is, we'll be deceiving ourselves. In the Nigeria of today, we say we have data in one place. Yes, we have data scattered across. What we're trying to do now is to build all this disaggregated data into one usable form. I tell you that sitting here as Commissioner for Finance, I have the database of all pensioners, from private, from public, from any kind of institution. That would be simply not true. So what you need to do, since you know that pensioners under the law are exempted from the payment, just make an application and we will update our database that information verification. The second, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Honorable Commissioner.
Yeah. So the second question by Mr. Adeyemi is on vacant property.
The tenants paying on behalf of a landlord. He's talking about legal troubles there. I mean, who registers his name as a payee at the end of the day?
So there is no issue about any confusion anywhere. Every property has a unique number.
Okay.
We call it a property identification number. Okay. So you are going to use that property identification number to make the payment. The payment will still fall to the credit of the owner of the property. So just like I've said, it is not automatic. The commissioner has to, by notice and writing, appoint any person or organization to be an agent of the owner on that chargeable property.
Right.
So there wouldn't be any confusion about who owns the property, who is making payment. It will be paid against property.
Honorable Commissioner, they will not allow me to ask my own questions though, because the numbers. But let me just chip in this song. Please forgive me, Lagos. I just need to ask this question on your behalf. So, Honorable Commissioner, we're out of time. I will need your response, very short response. We have been talking about retirees all morning, as to not really, entirely retirees, but we're not considering the informal people, those people that didn't work in any structured environment, and they are aged and they have properties. What's the arrangement for them?
Absolutely. If you listen to that I gave from the beginning, so the definition has been expanded to include retirees from private, from public, whether it's federal, whether it's state, whether it's local government, whether it's a small company, whether it's a medium-sized company, whether it's an owner-managed company, your own informal business. So far you have retired and you do not actively involve yourself in any business activity for remuneration, you are seen and deemed as a pensioner. So all we need is proof. So there will be proof across every category of what we will call.
Honorable Commissioner, I'm sorry, but I'm talking about a 70 or an 80-year-old woman who struggled to build her house. She's never been employed anywhere. She probably is just a consular by the roadside, but she managed to build a 2-bed apartment somewhere. I mean, what's the arrangement for her?
She's being considered the law. She's also considered under the law. All she needs to do is write and state particular situation, and we will consider it on the definition of a pensioner. The scope also includes. The simple principle is that people above 60 are no longer involved in any business activity for remuneration.
Fantastic.
That's the key principle.
Fantastic. I mean, that solves the entire equation. Thank you, Honorable Commissioner, for joining us on the Crossfire today. We have loads of, you just have to be in the studio to see the phone lines are all buzzing. The messages are everywhere. We appreciate your time, Honorable Commissioner for Finance in Lagos State, for joining us this morning on the program. Dr. Rabiu Olowo, thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much, Quadry. It's my pleasure being here.
Lagos, you've heard, Honorable Commissioner. Let's get the conversation going on. 0700 Lagos LUC is a number that you can call for further inquiries. Now, let's try and give out 10,000 naira today, shall we? Let's do that.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Entertaining and informing Nigeria 24/7.
Nigeria Center for Disease Control on Thursday reported 790 new cases. We're going to talk about the new independent political movement that launched yesterday and says it wants to reform the constitution.
Tune in every weekday and weekends for the best radio programming.
But then again, he found something condemnable. I'm talking about how they've been observing the social distancing.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Nigeria Info, good morning to you.
Good morning.
You want to play just a minute?
Yes.
Quickly. Let's play just a minute. Your time starts right now.
This is Just a Minute.
Nigeria Info currently has how many followers on Twitter?
Next.
Nigeria is divided into how many geopolitical zones?
6.
Correct. Update by NCDC for yesterday, 31st of August, shows that 18 states recorded cases of COVID-19. How many of them confirmed 2 cases each?
Two confirm. I didn't hear that.
How many of these states confirmed 2 cases each?
Next.
Okay. Who is the current Senate president in Nigeria?
Current
Senate president in Nigeria.
President Muhammadu Buhari.
Okay. How many stations does Nigeria Info have in Nigeria?
How many
stations does Nigeria Info have in Nigeria?
Next.
Who is the current Chief Justice of Nigeria? The current Chief Justice of Nigeria. Yeah. Just stay on the line. You got one question correctly. Stay on the line. Lagos, that's our show this morning. Jimmy Disu is next with Daily Digest. I'm Sheriff Quadry. Good morning to you. Stay here on the number 1 talk station.
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.